Hello, this is Curbs2002, and this is going to be a speedrun tutorial for the secret island of Dr. Quandary. The game's pretty easy to set up. I'm running it on DOSBox. I would recommend, if you run DOSBox, at least 20,000 cycles or higher. You want to have a high cycle so that animations and such don't tie the game up. If you leave it at the default, which is I think around like 3,000 cycles or something, even the simplest animations are going to take precious seconds to show. So this is going to focus on the beginner difficulty. There's 3 difficulty levels when you start. There's B beginner on the left, the doll, which would be the doll on the left here. Beginner, the doll on the left. There's ordinary, this doll on the right, and there's difficult in the middle. As their punny names indicate, they are different difficulty levels for the game. Now, all games are going to start with a game of troubleshoot here. Normally you're supposed to shoot 10 troggles that are going to appear here in the target, and you would get to pick a doll. But if you fail the game 3 times, it lets you pick a doll anyway. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to mash left click as well as space alternately, and we're going to try to run through these 3 games as quickly as possible. You want to generally have your cursor aimed right about where I have it. Middle, the very bottom. You don't want to go down here. You want it like right on this seam. And you want it in the middle so that the shot goes away as quick as possible. And then I'm going to let you pick. We're going to pick beginner. And then you just hit escape, and you just hit escape a few times and it'll warp you immediately to shore. Now, the game would normally have you come over to this recycle bin and recycle the note, but there's no time for that. So it just gives you a recipe anyways, which you're not going to need. And then you come over here and you want to pick up the tokens. And then you're just going to go up here, and we're going to get right into the game. This is the world map I like to take. So this is Tire Tower. It's a variant of the old Tower of Hanoi game. And on beginner, the way to remember it is you want to put the odd number underneath the oil can, even number on the other pole, just like I did. If you come up, if you walk up into the game, your character will walk in from the left side. If you come down on the game, your character will walk in from the right side. So that was Tire Tower. And this next game is going to be Headstrong Hop. Real simple. Real simple game. You're going to move left to right, and you're going to hop and knock the notes up onto the score up ahead. A little trick is you're going to have an easier time moving around by using the mouse instead of using arrow keys, because precision can be kind of finicky with the arrow keys, to be honest. So you're gonna complete it. You're gonna run through that text a lot quicker than this. Once you pick up the rows, you're gonna hit Alt R, which is a hotkey for run away, and it lets you keep the rows, and it's as if you beat the game. So then we're gonna come over to here. This is Disc up here. She explains the rules. Take turns making them disappear. Take as many as you want, as long as they're in the same row. What you do want to do is make sure that she tries to take the last CD. Loser is the one who takes the last. Now, this is beginner. I like to say that on beginner, the game helps you along. It wants to get you to the end. So we're just going to take the whole first row right straight away. she's going to take that, and now, because we want her to take the last, we just take this last row here. And that's all there is to it. You generally don't have to, generally speaking though, you have to actually try and lose the game. You have to try and lose, especially on that one. And if you lose, you get a CD. When you win, you get the suntan, the tube of sunscreen. Tube of sunscreen is all you need for the fixer elixir. We're gonna come over to this one. This is Ape the Ape. It's Simon Says, basically. He's gonna give you a number combination, and you're gonna have to match it. And this is gonna be an important part. When numbers are right next to each other, you can't just do it. You can't just go right away, and I'll show you why. So we have 3, 4, 2. See, the cup moves around too quickly. So if it's right next to each other, you have to wait for it to cycle under once, and then when it comes back. If that makes sense. Like watch what he's doing here. So we have 3, 4, 2, 5. And obviously you want to copy exactly what he's doing. You obviously want to copy exactly what he's doing, otherwise you have to start over with a completely new pattern. And obviously that wastes time. And then you get a tin full of gobbledygoo. We're gonna come down into this. This is the first of three. This is the first of three puzzles that we have to complete, and it's real simple. You're gonna move the pink pieces into the yellow one, and on beginner, true to its name, it's very simple. You don't even have to rotate the pieces. This is one of two patterns that you're going to get. Now obviously you would just move them into here, but for the sake of demonstration, the other pattern that you're going to get, I'm going to assemble right here based solely on memory here. You get one of two basically you get one of two patterns. In both cases, this rhombus here is going to be the flame. The pattern that we got is this outline here. This is the other pattern that you're going to get. Now let's assemble it as intended. And the thing is, on this one, and the thing is, on all three of these games, you do have to be a little careful, because the game has a mind of its own about when it wants you to be precise. So it can be kind of frustrating where you're micromanaging pieces here and there, trying to get it to line right up. Generally what I'll do is I'll give it about 2 tries, and if after 2 micro adjustments it doesn't go, I just reset and start over. Now we're going to come right over here, and this is the first of 3 majorly RNG or luck heavy games there are, and this is the cave. Now in this cave, when you complete it, you have a glob full of wax. You have a glob full of wax from obviously the candle that you just built, and that means you have to build the candle before you do the cave. Not only because you get the map, but because again you need the candle to become the glob of wax. So And then when you get out of the cave, and by the way, the cave's controls are not very indicative. The cave's controls are based on this POV over here, not this map, not this mini map that you have. So, and then after the cave, you have cave moss, which you picked up along the way, and a clump of melted wax. Assuming you built the candle before you went into the cave. So, and that's one of the first of 3 majorly luck-heavy mini games that you're going to be doing, and that's obviously because the cave's layout will change from game to game. So we're going to come over here. And we're going to do tax factor. As he explained, you pick up a number, and then he picks up all the numbers that are factors of the one you just picked up. And we have 7. On beginner, you get anywhere between 6 and 12 tokens to start. Generally, you want to start with the highest prime number, which in this case, that's going to be 7. So we have 7 to his 1, and there's not really a whole lot of moves we can make. If we picked up the 6, that would give us 13, and then he would then pick up basically all of those, which would give him 15 to our 13, and that means we lose, and we don't want that. So after that 7, we're going to have to then pick up 4, give us 11 to 3, and then the 6 to make it 17 to 6. He picks up the 5, 17 to 11, we win. Pick up the tax rebate. Now we're going to come down here. We're going to hit S to skip ahead, because we've already beaten that game and we'd just be wasting time doing through it again. This challenge is called the num lock. Shackle me in this num lock. How to help me escape? How? Can I use the num lock key? And then they both share in a side glance. Not in this. You must guess the combination. I know the combination, but I can't say it out loud. It's exactly 2 digits on beginner. On ordinary, it's 3 digits. On difficult, it's 4. I will wink like this if one of the digits is right, but in the wrong spot, and I'll give you a wide-eyed smile like this if the digit is right and in the right place. You get 10 tries. So this is real simple, and you can actually buffer your inputs. So you're just going to quick hit 1, 2, enter, 3, 4, enter, and right there you can already see of those two combinations, one was correct but in the wrong spot. So we're gonna go 2, 3. That's not it, so it would have to be 4, 1, and that's all there is to it. You get a paperweight with a lock of hair from Elvis, which you don't need. And you get and you walk up there and you pick up the padlock. Now we're going to come up here. This is the second majorly luck-heavy minigame we will play. This is called Frogmeister. What you're going to do is you're going to grab the rock. You're going to set the power to 4 centered, and you're going to, which will allow you to, you're going to throw the rock to knock this fly out like I just did, and then you're going to shoot the fly under the same settings, 4 centered. Then you're going to come over here, it'll open that gate. You're going to come over here, you're going to pick up the popcorn, 3, aim right, and you have to watch the wind, because the wind will mess with you. So then you got the bird distracted, you go in there, gooey frog eggs, into the pocket they go, and that's all there is to it. Now we're going to skip that. You see that door up ahead, we can't quite go through that just yet. We're going to come over here and we're going to do the second of 3 puzzle games. and this is the ship. There's a few different patterns, so it would kind of be pointless to try and build them all. But basically, if you're not sure, how to build the pattern, just tinker around with it for a little while. But this one, pretty self-explanatory. You're going to come up here, grab the bucket of water, and then we're going to come up here into the final one. And there's going to be a trick here to this last one. Obviously, the game itself works just like the other two that we did. You put the pink pieces into the yellow outline. This one, it doesn't change at all. On different difficulty levels, it will, just on the different difficulty levels, you'll have to rotate the pieces in. On beginner, the pieces are already rotated to where they need to go. And so this is the trick about this particular one that we notice. You'll notice, not only is the door built instead of just the frame that it was before, but you've also got a floor pattern here. So let's go down. And this is the final of 3 majorly luck-heavy games. This is called the acid test, where what you're trying to do is you're trying to get up to here where the the glass of green gas is, and you're supposed to walk back out the door. Once you move, the game starts shooting at you. These blue jets shoot fireballs, these red jets shoot acid, and that's going to be very important to notice in a moment. And also, if you put in any inputs while you're trying to mash through the introductory text that he gives you, it will buffer those inputs. So if you hit right as you're hitting space, once the text completes, your character is going to move right at however many times you pressed, since you first walked in and started the trial. So, and the luck is obviously which jet shoots and when. And by the way, we entered by walking back over here. But this is where the acid test trial was. It was that partially completed door frame that we saw a couple of times. And like I said, it's luck based because of when the jets decide to shoot and which ones shoot. So it can get a little frustrating. Now that we picked up the orb of green gas, we're supposed to escape. But that takes a while to walk all the way through, so we get shot by the fireball. But look at this. We have the glass of green gas. It's generally speaking a lot quicker to get shot by that fireball and blow the trial up. And it's blown up because it just lets you pass right through. And we've already aped the ape. And we've completed all the trials. So now we're going to go up onto this beach that's supposedly off limits and closed. Now you're intended to walk up this ladder, look in your pocket, and drop items in. But there's no need to do that. We're going to click over here on the bellows, and on the way over, we put in what we need. Now, this is important. You do have to complete all the trials on beginner difficulty, and there are certain items that you are going to have to put in. There are all told 12 items that you're going to have to put in, and there are 4 or 5 items that you will not have to put in. Obviously, 5 is fewer than 12. So it's going to be good to memorize the 5 items. It's going to be a lot easier to memorize the 5 items that you will not have to put in the cauldron for the fixer elixir. On beginner, the items that you have to put in: a bag of tokens, You're going to skip the gum, the bottle, the rose, the clump of wax, the padlock, skip the Elvis hair paperweight, put in the tube of sunscreen, the tin of gobbledygoo, the tax rebate, skip the cave moss, put in the bucket of bilge water, put in the glass of green gas, put in the oil can, and put in the frog eggs. This will leave you with 4 items, or maybe 5 or 5 if you failed. If you managed to fail disc appear, because if you failed disc appear, you would also have a CD. You do not put the CD in. If you put in one too many items, the fixer elixir will not mix. So the 5 items that you do not put in are, as I mentioned, the CD if you have it. You do not put in the hair of Elvis in a paperweight. Do not put in the cave moss. Do not put in the gum. And do not put in the note, or if you recycled the note, you would have a recipe card. Do not put in that. So, we've put in all the items, the 12 items that we need to put in, and we've left out the 4 or 5 that we don't need. And we were already walking over the bellows. And then with the cursor on the bellows, you just want to mash left click. Until it explodes, and time stops right there when he steps on. Time stops the moment that the doll steps on the top ladder after mixing the fixer elixir, and then after that you've won the game. You go back to the carnival. These games all work the same. For all 3 difficulties, just depending on the difficulty, the game itself gets more complex. The maze gets longer. On Frogmeister, the wind gets even more aggressive. On Acid Test, the jets get even more aggressive. The combination for Numlock gets longer. The tire tower that you have to build gets bigger, and so on and so forth. I think you get the picture. Also, time starts the moment you click on to start the troubleshoot. So, now that we've done that, let's put it all together in a run, in a little sample run. So, you can see we got the timer up here. Again, time starts the moment we click on start. We're going to quick scroll through, and we're going to wait, and like before, we're going to try and waste the shots, which I'm not doing a very optimal job of here. But we're going to mash, we're going to alternate mashing left click and space to try and waste these as quick as we possibly can. And then we're going to mash and left click to skip through the text, and we're going to hit escape a couple of times to skip the cinematic. Come over here, pick up the bottle, do not recycle the note, pick up the tokens, and then we're on our way. And it looks like we got the same overworld pattern as before. Again, tire tower. Real simple, real straightforward. And because we walked up, we walk in from the left side after completing the tower. And now we're going to come up here, headstrong hop. We're going to use the mouse to navigate around, because it's a lot easier to get the precision that you need. And we've knocked them all up. And then we're gonna run away to skip the long walk, exiting stage right. Come over here to disc appear. And basically we're just gonna rush through the game because the game tries to make it easy on, goes real easy on you. And just like that, we've won at Disappear. We pick up the tube of sunscreen, come over here to Ape the Ape. Ideally, you don't want to miss any drops, because each drop that you miss is about 2 to 5 seconds lost, depending on which one it was. So we got 2, 1, and 5. Two, 1, 5, 4. 2, 1, 5, and 4. 2, 1, 5, 4, 4. 2, 1, 5, 4, and 4, and we're through. Now we're going to come down here, waxy buildup, and this is the alternate pattern that I mentioned earlier. And again, we're going to kind of take it a little easy here, just so we get it right the first time. Pretty straightforward. Basically all of them are. Now we've got a candle. We're going to come over here to the cave, and we're going to try the tunnel vision. And like I said, your controls are based exclusively on this left side POV here. And that was a pretty good cave. We're through. Now we're going to come over here. We're going to do tax factor. We have the 6. In this case, we take just the 5 for 5 to 1, then the 6 for 11 to 6. He takes the 4, which gives him 10, and we win. Pick up the tax rebate. Now we come down here, skip tire tower again, and we come over here to numlock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, enter, 9, 0, enter. So let's try 9, 1, and that's the combination. We get the Elvis hair and the paperweight. We come up there, grab the padlock. We're gonna grab the rocks. We're gonna snipe that. Now with it at 4 center, we throw the fly that we just killed. Now with it right and 3, we distracted the bird with popcorn, picked up the frog eggs, and we're through. Real quick. Sometimes it's gonna go quickly like that, sometimes it won't. And that's why I said that's a heavily luck-based game. We're gonna build the ship for the second of our 3 puzzle piece games. Now I know I said these things can be real frustrating because sometimes they require you to be a little precise. That's not always the case with this specific one. I've noticed that specific one where you build the boat tends to actually be the most forgiving for imprecision. And again, there's no need to rotate. And again, on all 3 of these, there's no need to rotate on the beginner difficulty. The game has already rotated them to the ideal position. You just have to click and drag it over. Like so. And now we're gonna walk right back down, warp to the acid test. We're gonna get shot. and fail. And the timer, by the way, is red because my PB is currently 6:48. And as you can see, the game tends to be a little frustrating, this particular one. But we're going to wait right here, get shot, walk back through. We've completed all the trials. Skip. Now we're going to come up to the beach. Hit F6 to quick open the pockets. Put in what we need. And walk right over to the bellows. And just mash to get through this as quickly as we possibly can. And it looks like we're gonna get 8:01 on the nose. Because again, time stops right when he steps on that top step. Time stops right at the top step on the ladder. And that's a simple sample run of Secret Island of Dr. Quandary. I highly recommend this game because, again, it's easy to set up. All you need is DOSBox with a decent preset of cycles. You know, you can go into DOS. You know, you can even go into DOSBox settings and set cycles to maximum. And this game is actually very readily available. You can find it on almost any abandonware archive out there. And furthermore, I recommend it because honestly, a good time is about is about the 7 to 8 minute range. And you just saw right there, I turned out an 8:01 going extra slow for demonstration purposes. So it doesn't take a whole lot of grinding to get a good time on this game. And if you're feeling bold, you can move up to Ordinary, which is what I'm presently going to be focusing on at the time of making this video anyway. So that was the tutorial for the speed run of the beginner difficulty for the Secret Island of Dr. Quandary. I hope that was informative. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to contact me through my various outlets on Twitter and Twitch as Curbs2002. I'm also on Discord. I think that's also on my speedrun.com page. And I hope to see all of you and I hope to see many of you on the leaderboards in the coming future. Thanks, and have a good day, night, or whatever.